Okay, I'm going to jump right in. First of all, thank you for allowing me to do this. I really do enjoy doing them, so hopefully I can give you some useful information for your business. Um, just write my email address down in case something happens on Fiverr, because sometimes I mark myself as away and I'm not available. So if you ever have any questions, I mean, even if this is the only time we work together on this, whether it's a week from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, you can always contact me. I literally have dozens of people that I worked with over the last 7 years, I guess, that are contacting me, every so often asking me questions. Let me mute my phone. Okay, sorry about that. So we got 6 pages of things. The first stuff is the first things here are pretty generic, to kind of give you an overview. Then we're going to get into a lot of specific stuff. There's definitely a lot of things you can do, and you're not going to be able to do all this, right? You may not be able to do a lot of this. You might have to hire somebody, or I can work with you on some of this, because you have to run your business, right? I mean, you're not a SEO person, you're not a tech person, you're not a web performance person, you're not a security person. At least I don't think so. You guys run that indoor cycling center. I don't know if it's called an indoor cycling gym or center. I wasn't sure. Um, in Google My Business, or what do they call it now? Google My Profile. Let me go back there. My business, Google Business Profile. Put that over here. Okay. Okay, sorry, I should have this ready. I just rebooted my computer to make sure everything was working properly. And let me look at the category here. Indoor cycling, right? Okay, indoor cycling. So it doesn't say indoor cycling center; it just says indoor cycling. That's right. Okay, we're going to jump right in. So blogs are very important, especially for businesses that don't have like mass adoption. I mean, it looks like you guys have a ton of customers, so I'm not saying that like in a disrespectful way. If you're not like a national brand, right? Now, not everybody can do blog posts. Now, the reason you want to do blog posts are it helps Google understand it's what's called topical authority. You're having article, I have a whole video on this called my create and conquer technique, and I put a link to it below somewhere down here, and we'll get to that. You can watch it. It's about a 30-minute video for how I can determine what kind of content I can write that gives me a decent chance of ranking for, and then my overall like framework for creating the content. So why it's important is the more content you have related to fitness, nutrition, cycling, exercise, Google's going to start to get a really good understanding of what your website's about. And you're showing Google that you're an authority on these topics. And also, it gives more people more opportunity to come to your website. So let's say if you had a blog post on what are the benefits of 10 benefits of cycling for ladies, right? And that's a very niche topic. It's called long tail keywords. That's much better than what are the top 10 cycling benefits. So what are the top 10 cycling benefits for women? I should say, maybe not ladies, sounds kind of weird, right? Because if you're a newer site and you don't have a lot of authority built up, you want to rank on very niche topics. And that's how once you start getting clicks to those, Google sees that your website is actually good and people are finding the content useful, not clicking the back button. Google's going to start to hopefully include you in some of your more broad topics, right? So it helps Google understand. It helps drive traffic to your website, because if you don't have anything but a website that's just like a brochure, how are people going to come across your website? There's also a thing in marketing, and I do some digital marketing, but I'm not like a hardcore marketer. What is it? Like, people need to see your brand, was it 5 times or 15 times or something like that, before it sticks in their head, right? So that would get if somebody from New York searches for the 10 benefits of cycling for ladies or whatever. I mean, there's thousands of different topics we could write about. There's a higher statistic probability that yours is going to show up over some cycling club in Ohio, because that's a locality thing, right? Google takes it's called proximity into account, right? And then also in your content, that's where you upsell your products and services, right? So it's a free advertisement as well. So, the more traffic you get from your content, the more traffic you get, the more traffic you get, the more traffic you get. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then if you keep building up that traffic, you're going to start appearing higher when somebody searches for indoor cycling facility, New York. Right, so hopefully that makes sense. And any of this stuff I can get into a lot more detail if you want. I don't want to waste a lot of your time because this is going to be, these videos are already pretty long. So I looked at your performance. Your performance is surprisingly good. Why I say surprising, let me show you. You use Squarespace. I'm not a Squarespace person. I like WordPress. And Squarespace, if it doesn't perform well, there's not really a lot you can do about it as far as I know. WordPress has a lot of plugins. You can really tweak the databases, blah, 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 blah. So I was kind of surprised to see that your website performed so good. But let me just go over this so you'll have a general understanding of what's going on. Google has something called Core Web Vitals that it measures. You go here. I'm going through this just in case you ever talk to anybody else and they try to tell you they can sell you on speeding up your website or whatever, and it's not necessary. So largest contentful paint. So these are the three things. Let me step back. This is called Core Web Vitals. Core Web Vitals are the metrics as of a few months ago that's Google's using to determine how fast your website is. It doesn't just, determine like how many seconds it takes to load. So largest contentful paint is how long, and these are synthetic tests, right? So it might show your website takes 8 seconds to load here, but it takes like 3 seconds for you. So this isn't the gospel. This isn't 100%. So largest contentful paint is how long it takes images to load on the website, right? And yours is really good. It's green. Cumulative layout shift. How long do images shift around as the page is loading? You don't have a problem there. You're really good. And total blocking time. So our scripts blocking other scripts, right? And you don't have you're not loading a lot of stuff on your web page, which is really good. So let me zoom in and show you this. So this is like the DNS lookup, I guess that's the TCP IP handshake, the SSL connection, blah, blah, blah. And this is actually loading the HTML of the page. So you can see here, if it's light blue, that means it's waiting, right? So this, let me do this. This piece of JavaScript took 0.3 seconds to load. You don't have to memorize any of this. I'm just giving you an understanding of what's going on. This is good. You want these, so 0.3 seconds to load. That's good. You want these short little lines. And these lines here look really long, but relative to the duration, I should say, relative to the time it takes for your website to load, this isn't that big of a deal. See, it's only 2.5 seconds, right? If you had a page that took 8 seconds to load, the line would be like this. And like I said, on Squarespace, I don't think there's much you can do about it. Now, what you could do something about are these. So these are all the things that are loading on your web page. And these X's mean these are blocking other things. But some things are just naturally going to block things. So you only have a few. Most websites have like, you're loading 30, 35 assets. Most websites have like 100 at least. So you're not loading a lot, which is really good. So the thing that you can speed up even more, and this is a quick fix, you have some images that are 486K for this image, which is rather large. I get most of my images under, sometimes it bugs out. Let me do this. Under 100K. Let me show you. Okay, so, well, that one, it's because you don't need that image that big, right? You don't need that image that big. And I think, where is it on here? It's probably up here. Yeah, right here. See how small it is? You don't need that image to be, where was I at? Here. That big, because it's just shrinking down. That's a huge image. You should be able to get that image down to probably like 30K. And that's going to knock off some load time. And the other one, this one, JPG, objects. See, let me just show you how I do it real quick. And you want your images to have SEO image friendly names. So it says, see this name, this is not good. Joey, eBoost. Well, I guess eBoost means something to you. If this means something to you, eBoost is something specific to your company. That's something you want to talk about on your webpage, which you're not doing. Punch pedal. On the file name here, I would do indoor gym New York or whatever. Now, this is because you want it to show up in Google Images, right? So anyway, we could get into all that stuff too. Like I said, I don't want to waste too much of your time. But I wanted to be a kind of balance, I wanted to balance being detailed with being brief, and it's kind of it's a balancing act. So what you want to do is, the first thing you want to do is look if you could resize it, and you would do it here. So 1500 by 1000, so that's probably okay. But so this is paint.net, not paint, but paint.net. Go to save as, and we'll call it, you know, whatever, even though it should, I'm just, for this example, I'm just saying whatever, it should mean something more useful. So you can see now, if we change the quality, you can see here, let's look at her, kind of like, okay, let's look at her face. It's pretty detailed. So at 100% quality, look at her face. Now, if we change it down to 30% quality, it looks the exact same. At least it does to me. And why you want to do that is because now the image is down to 62K from what was it? What was it before? 185K. So that's actually not a big. I mean, it's since you're not loading a lot of images, not a big deal. But every little bit counts. The faster your website is, the better, obviously. But yours loads pretty good. So I mean, you may I would fix it just because there's no reason not to fix it. But that's that. But performance is really, really good. So not really much to worry about there. Moving on. So it's all about relevance. Like how relevant is it to the search? If somebody searches for yoga gym, New York, it's not very relevant, even though you might do yoga there. And if you any other thing you're doing besides cycling, you need to have what's called landing pages for those topics, for those services. And we'll get into that a little bit more. Proximity. So you're in New York City, and there's Brooklyn, there's Harlem, all these surrounding, and I'm not honestly not even sure if they're official cities. I think Harlem's just a neighborhood. But let's say you're 30 miles from Harlem. Well, I know you're not 30 miles from Harlem. Let's say you're 10 miles from Harlem. If somebody searches for indoor cycling facility near me, there's two indoor cycling facilities closer to him. Even though if you have a better facility, well, I should say it this way: those two companies are going to get a leg up on you just because they're closer to where that search is coming from, right? So you got to take proximity into account. Now you could outrank them. It's very possible, but that's just another ranking factor. And then prominent. So how prominent are you? How prominent are you on the web, right? Are you mentioned in a bunch of directories? Are you mentioned in any newspaper articles, local magazines, blah 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 blah. So these are the three important factors for ranking locally. So these are just some notes here. 50% of GMB pages earn at least, so Google My Business, even though now it's called Google Business Profile. So it's kind of annoying that they changed it for no reason, but I guess I should say not no reason, but anyway. 50% of GMB pages earn at least 1,000 views per month. That just shows you how important it is to have a profile, and with as much stuff in the profile. And you're missing a lot of stuff, and we'll go over that. I shouldn't say a lot, you're missing some stuff, and we'll go over that. 84% of businesses are found with discovery searches. So most searches aren't typing in your business name. They're typing in indoor cycling center. So you can see how important it is to rank towards the top. And it's very important to try to, yeah, see, I've emulated it. So I'm searching from New York. These three results generally get about 80% of the clicks. Anything here that's lower, which you are, at least when I searched last time, I think you were like 8 or something. Pedal House right there. Those they just don't. So I could look at the metrics, but my guess is you're probably getting about 2% of the clicks, something like that, maybe even less. So it's very important to get in this what's called the snack pack up here, or I guess you could call it the 3-pack. And it's going to be tough because SoulCycle, you're not going to beat SoulCycle just because it's a huge brand. Brooklyn Cycle has 166 reviews. I don't know. I guess that's like BY Clin. I guess that's a play on words. And Spikespin, that one doesn't look. I think that's just a local business like yours. I don't think it's a chain or anything. So, but this is definitely going to be tough to beat, and these two might be tough to beat. But it doesn't mean you can't get in 4, 5, and 6, right? It takes time. Like even if you do a lot of things that I suggest here, it takes a lot of time. Like it just takes months and months to move up the rankings. It's not something that's going to change overnight. And then website clicks from Google My Business Profile are up 30% since 2018. And I think that's 50% if you take 2021 into account. I just haven't been able to find the right metric now. So when you're determining what your website should look like, what you want to do is look at your competition. That's why I asked you who your competition was. You want to look at your competition. You want to go So let's go here. What are they doing? Because Google thinks this is a good result. So what are they doing? So upcoming classes, I like the schedule here up top. Studio instructors, stay soul connected. Soul connected. Oh, that's SoulCycle. I don't know. Let's not do that. So Is that going to the wrong website? Let's go to Spikespin. So you want to make sure, what are these competitors doing well? What are they doing well that you're not doing? So spiked, okay, a lot of good keywords here. Now that's not good. Lifestyle, okay, I like this lifestyle, fitness, energy, resilience. So these are common keywords that I came across, and I'll show you how to get these in Google My Business. Inclusive community, okay, that's good. Inclusive, everybody wants inclusive, and I can show you how to specify that. And I noticed you did have a page to buy a hoodie, I think, but I found it through a back end way. I didn't see any link to it, so it's something you'd probably want to do. But this is pretty good. There's actually not a lot on here, to be honest with you. But this is good. It's COVID information. Okay, so basically, I would go through, and I went through some of your competitors, and I'll point all that stuff out that you gave me. And so you want to look at your competition, the top ranking results. Then I also would go to the top ranking results in other major cities. So the ones I look at, like if I'm working with a local bank or a plumber or a doctor or something, I look at always go to the results in Los Angeles, Chicago, New York. Three huge cities that probably invest a lot into SEO. Because I want to see not just what my competitors doing, not just what the top results locally are doing, what are the top results doing in major cities across the country, right? Okay, so Bright Local is a really cool tool. It costs money, and I don't like spending money. I like using things for free. So what I would do is you can get a free trial. And so Bright Local, you can read more about it. You can really like manage reviews on here. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. You can track your ranking and all this stuff. But the only thing I would really use it for, a lot of it's just marketing, like kind of I'm going to show you how to track your results, and it's a lot better. All these automated reports are actually kind of useless. Um, but what they do have, try it for free, they do have a good audit. Let me see if they, so I would do, it doesn't mention it here. But anyway, I would run the audit one time just to get a good overview of what's going on your website and your whole local business local SEO profile, and then just cancel. But you'll get a good snapshot of things you need to work on. So that's something I would definitely do. So keep your socials up to date. I don't remember what I take so many notes I forget what I link to. So the only social, well, okay, so this is a Facebook link, and I went to it and I just Googled it. Maybe I didn't see a link from your homepage, so you'd want to add that if you're going to use this. Also to your Instagram, I found your Instagram, but I didn't see it. I saw it on the personal pages, but I think you have like a main business Instagram. So you can see this content's not available right now. So if you're going to have a Facebook page, you need to make sure um, it looks like it's private, right? So that's not good. So you want to make sure you keep your socials up to date. It looks like social media is a ranking signal. It just shows Google that you're keeping up to date, you're active, you're proactive, you care about your business, et cetera, et cetera. So the things you'd want to post to social media, pictures are always good. Before and after pictures are always good. I like to do screenshots of my 5-star reviews, blog posts, if you do blog posts, all that stuff. And then specials. Now you don't want to do specials all the time because it gets annoying and people are going to tune you out, right? Maybe any interesting articles you find on other websites, but you don't want to overload people. You could just do like 3 a week, something like that. Maybe just 1 a day. What gets annoying is when you do 4 or 5 a day and people just mute you. So you need to figure this out. You need to figure out what social media you're going to use and just make sure you stay active with it. In my opinion, for you, for a studio, I'm just gonna a fit cycling studio. I think Facebook would be the best. I wouldn't worry with Twitter. I saw you had a Twitter, but nothing was happening on it. At least I think I did. Actually, that place was in Brooklyn, so that might be something totally different. But I think Facebook's probably the best. Instagram's good, but Facebook's the best. Facebook would be the best. Okay, so now we're moving on to specifically Google My Business stuff. So what you want to do once a week or even just once a month, you want to go to this home page and make sure there's not something new that you're not doing. So you didn't do, I don't think you didn't update any COVID information. And it makes sense. The more you stay on top of your Google My Business, the higher you're going to rank. I can't prove that, but it makes sense because it seems Google would want to showcase its products and put those results higher up. But also, it's just good for your customers, so they can get good. You don't want them to have to call you. And then this preview call history, try it out now. It's beta, something that if you don't go to this homepage once a week, once a month, whatever, and see if there's anything new, you wouldn't know about it. There's one more thing I had, get more reviews. We'll get into that. Oh, you haven't added your logo yet. See over here? So you want to definitely go add your logo, right? So it's just a check to make sure you have everything that you should be, everything's up to date that should be up to date. Okay, that's that. That's what add logo, COVID info, call history. Good. Okay, so services. Well, first thing, if you go to your info, see this is pretty good. Indoor cycling, but let me show you this. Indoor cycling. You want to use the same categories that other cycling centers are using. Most of them are using gym and indoor cycling, so that's good. Let me see something real quick. Indoor cycling gym. Okay, but let me let this load. Slow. I don't know why it's so slow. Here we go. So I have a plugin called Plepper, P-L-E-P-E-R. It's going to pop up a little window over here. At least it should. Here. So you can see the number one category, Google My, I'm just going to say Google My Business, even though it's called Google, well, I should say Google Business Profile. For these gyms or these cycling centers is indoor cycling. The second most common one is gym. That's exactly what you have. But another one is bicycle club. I don't think that's the same thing. I think that's like actual people riding real bicycles outside. But I think this one would be good. And this one would be good. Maybe wellness center. Actually, I don't think that's probably good. But you are a fitness center. And you do have physical fitness programs. So I would add these two. I would add fitness third and physical fitness program fourth. Doesn't hurt. The problem is you don't want to have like 20. It just gets to be a little ridiculous. But those are ones I would definitely add. Not a huge deal, but it's worth it. Address is good. Service, this doesn't matter because you're not really going to drop things off. Maybe you are. I don't think you're doing remote classes, but perhaps you are. Hours are good. It threw me off because you were like, you work and then you take the afternoon off, then come back. So that threw me off a little bit because I looked at the times that you're the busiest and I noticed there was nobody coming in the afternoon. I was like, wow, that's really weird. And then I saw that. Do you have more hours, special hours? If you do, like, Christmas, all that stuff, I'd add that here. Homepage, that's good. Your appointment link should go here, right? So I would add that. What happened? Okay, here we go. Products. You could put those shirts and stuff here. Now, services is, so you have indoor cycling classes, right? You don't have, I think that's pretty much all you offer. You don't have like indoor cycling for beginners, medium, and expert, right? If you do, these would all be, you want all these to be services. Now, this is something you need to consider. What I do is indoor cycling for beginners, weight loss, seniors, cardio, obese. So this is, you want to create landing pages for these things people are searching on, right? So if somebody searches for indoor cycling for weight loss, if you're not, even though it's common sense, if you do a lot of cycling, you're going to lose weight, right? But you want to make sure these keywords are on your website. So here I would have a little, menu down here or you don't even have to link it from here. It just could be somewhere down here, kind of obscure. I would have a landing page, like a dedicated page that talked about indoor cycling for weight loss and kind of described it, right? Kind of went over it. Now I have people that I work with, they can probably write that landing page for like $50 if you want. But anytime you're creating something, you need to keep in mind the keywords people are using. And there's all kinds that I came across. Where's it at? Indoor cycling. Let me go back here. Indoor cycling. I have an extension called Keywords Everywhere up here. Wherever it's at, right here. And a couple others, but you get a general idea. And there's a lot of other ways to get this stuff. I'm just kind of browsing through this so you get a general idea of how this stuff works. So these are the indoor cycling benefits. That would be a really good blog piece. Like example workouts, right? You could even have workout routines, right? So you might think, well, that's kind of stupid. That will just keep people at home doing their workouts on their home bike. But what you find out if you do these things enough, if you give people home tutorials, do DIY, do your own, or do your DIY stuff, a lot of times in the long run, they're going to come do business with you because they find out they don't want to do what they're doing. Videos, any kind of like training videos would be good. What muscles are work for beginners. So I would have a beginner page. So these could be blog topics, benefits for ladies, benefits. So I would have a benefits for ladies, benefits for men, benefits for children, whatever your place is a little too intense probably for children. I think, I don't know. But like beginners, these would be blog posts. This would be a page, a landing page for beginners because people are searching for that. Indoor cycling for beginner. Indoor cycling for seniors, obese, older adults, weight loss, runners, right? Um, Near me workouts, trainer, benefits, app, shoes. Okay, what are the best shoes to use when cycling? And you would link to Amazon and do an affiliate link kind of thing. You could do review. This would be really good if you did reviews for the different indoor cycling bikes. And the cool thing here is you don't even really have to have this cycling bike to review it because this is going to drive a ton of traffic to your website. And all you got to really do, if you like, a lot of things I have review pages for on different client sites. I have no idea what the stuff is. I just go to those reviews, like 4 or 5 reviews for those products, read through them, and kind of make my own review. Right now, if obviously if you have it, it would be a good thing to do because you want to get pictures too and all that stuff. But that's going to drive traffic to your website. So hopefully that makes sense. So let me get back to this. So anytime, close this, pin this. So for all of those services, add another service. You'd want to do indoor cycling for weight loss, indoor cycling for senior citizens, indoor cycling for X, Y, and Z. And you want to sync your Google My Business with your web page. So Google, if you're saying if we do indoor cycling for women and it links to just a generic page like this, Google's going to see that's not very relevant. So whatever you have here, you want to map it on your website so you would have the different landing pages. I can't think of a correct menu item. Let me see, about pricing. You could do it under about maybe, or types or whatever. I mean, you could just link it, even if you don't have links to them at all. I would need to think I would need to think about the correct verbiage, right? But basically, you need to mirror everything on your Google My Business or Google Business Profile with what's on your website, right? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So that's a lot of work to be done there. That's one of the most critical things because you got to get all those keywords on your website, like all those keywords. And it's not just your services. You got to find out what keywords people are typing related to indoor cycling. What are people asking about, right? So hours, went over that, appointment links, products, product services, add attributes. So you have accessibility. I'm sorry, you don't have any of that. So you're not black owned, I don't believe. Obviously you're not because I looked at your pictures. Are you a veteran? If so, put that there. Because there's a lot of veterans that want to support veteran owned businesses. Are you wheelchair accessible? Um, I'm not sure if that would even make sense, but I guess if you're there just with a friend who is like coming with you as a friend, maybe that is accurate. So gender neutral bathroom. Do you have a gender neutral bathroom? I'm assuming you're LGBTQ friendly, so that's something you definitely want to check. Transgender safe space. That's something you definitely want to check because if let's say I'm a transgender, I'm transgender, and I'm looking for a gym. Even if I don't type gym for transgenders, trans transgenders, right? Even so, you could specify that, and Google would know that okay, your gym is transgender friendly, LGBTQ friendly. But even if they type gym near me, Google knows who people are because it stores. I mean, it's incredible the amount of data Google has on people. So it would make sense that Google knows me, that I'm LGBTQ, and it's going to present me with the result that's LGBTQ friendly, even if I don't specifically type it in here at the top bar. So the more niche, the more long tail you can get with a lot of this stuff, the better off you're going to be. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me go back. The big thing here, this is not good. So Google, something I like to say, I guess we like to say, is use what Google gives you. If Google gives you 750 characters for something, you want to make sure you use as close as possible to that 750 characters. So for you have a really good about page. I think it's well written. this kind of stuff. So you can kind of just copy and paste from this. Um, but you want to make sure you incorporate, definitely need to make sure you put your geographical information in here, like New York, New York City. All of your service pages in here, you would need to say, we offer cycling for, whatever your service page, ladies, um, busy executives, all that kind of stuff, weight loss, et cetera, et cetera. You put that in there and get as close to 750 as possible. Now, if you get to 680, that's fine. You don't got to use 750. The point is you just don't want to have 46 because these are good keywording opportunities. Now, are you going to rank higher the more keywords you put here? Maybe not, but it's going to help Google get it's another place Google's going to begin getting a better context of what your website's about. It's also, imagine if here you put LGBTQ friendly. Let's say I'm LGBTQ and I'm reading your business description and I specifically see that, that's going to stick out to me, right? It's kind of like when you go to the store and you see, let's say you're looking for pain medicine for a headache, right? If you see something on the box that says, pain medicine for a headache, that's going to stick out, even though it's the same exact thing as just pain medicine, right? It's a marketing gimmick. So that's something I would definitely do there. So you need to work on that. Okay, so that's that. Keep your socials up to date. Blah blah blah. Geo keywords meaning where you're located at. We just went over that. Put keywords you're focused. I take so many notes, I forget what I type here. Put keywords you're focusing on to us. Okay, so one thing you need to do better is this thing's called H1s, which are like headers. Whoops, let's get rid of that. Like this is an H1 probably, like because these like bold-faced things. It helps Google if a keyword's in an H1 or an H2, like these are different heading sizes. Google sees that this is pretty important. This is pretty applicable to this web page. So somewhere in here, let me see. Okay, let me just check something real quick. I overlooked this when I was doing research. Headings. Okay, good. I didn't notice this. An indoor cycling studio you have as an H1. That's good. I still would like to see indoor cycling mentioned more here, like specifically indoor cycling, because you just don't have a lot of you don't have a lot of text for Google to chew on and understand what's going on. So I'd like to see this probably mentioned indoor cycling. Oh, studio. Okay, I've been saying center or facility, whatever. I'd like to see indoor cycling studio probably 3 times on this page, maybe in an H2 and an H3, then maybe a couple times in some text that you can add. So what I would say, I like this. I would incorporate a lot of this into the homepage. It doesn't mean it can't be here as well, but I would incorporate a lot of this into the homepage because you have most people, if you look at session recordings of people looking at websites for businesses, and if you're interested in doing that, I can let you know how to do it for free. But most people, I would say 90% of people, they look like whether it's a plumber, whether it's a dentist, they come here, they literally use their mouse and kind of look at stuff, and they scroll down this, and then they scroll back up, and then they leave. So you have one chance to sell them on something. So right now, you're an indoor cycling center. It's more than a workout. It's an experience. Very catchy, but what do you mean by experience? So I would have a little section on why is an experience. Now I saw some of your videos and I can tell it's pretty intense. So that definitely is an experience, but I would like to see that described more on this homepage. You don't want your potential customers, clients to get away just because you're not putting stuff in their face. You want to put as much stuff in their face as possible. I shouldn't say as possible. I should say relevant information as possible. So I would incorporate a lot of this on the homepage because this is really, really good stuff. Like very intense. I mean, this is a very niche type thing. This isn't something I would do well at. Like I jog, but watching the videos, I can tell this is really, really intense stuff. It's not really for like beginners and just, casual joggers. So I think that's a good niche. That's a good selling point for you guys. Whereas I think SoulCycle and the Peloton bike are just more like anybody. You know what I mean? They have video of somebody, a bike going through a canyon or something. You guys look like y'all are doing some pretty intense stuff. So I think that's something I would certainly emphasize on the homepage. If that's like what makes you what makes you better than your competition, emphasize that here. And I'll get into that a little more as we go on. I probably shouldn't have rambled on there. So that's that. So you need to do keyword research and find out what keywords people are using to get to fitness websites and incorporate all those onto your homepage and other pages too. But homepage is the biggest one, obviously. So people also ask, so if you did like indoor, let's do indoor cycling. So people also ask is essentially if somebody searches for that, and I have a whole process on this that I'm going to link to you. You can just watch the 30-minute video that describes all this. Basically here, on your content pieces, can you lose weight by cycling indoors? Is indoor cycling good exercise? How long should indoor cycle a day? That's a good question. This might seem like a really foolish question to you. Can you lose weight by cycling indoors, right? I mean, it seems pretty obvious, but people are asking it. If they weren't, it wouldn't be up here. So these are things you'd want to incorporate possibly in a frequently asked questions. And so it's giving Google more keyword opportunities, right? So if somebody searches, can you lose weight by cycling indoors, perhaps there's a decent chance your result's going to come up on that, right? And there's scrapers that you can get tons and tons of more of these. So if you do this, I'm not going to keep going, but you get the idea. You need to provide this content. A lot of this stuff I would provide on the homepage as well. Possibly. Maybe not. This is pretty beginner stuff. And I think, yeah, you guys are a lot more intense. But who knows? But this is the kind of stuff you want to put in content also down here. I'll just show you one more thing. Indoor cycling benefits, blah, blah, blah. Let me just show you this real quick. So this is probably my favorite tool. So if you type in indoor cycling, based on this seed word, or I guess you should say keyword, Google is auto-suggesting these. I'm in Louisiana, right? I'm near New Orleans. I'm in Baton Rouge, which is fairly close to New Orleans. So this is what it's suggesting. These are what people are searching on. So, what this does, it automates it. It automates that process. So let's just do, and you get 2 free searches per day. So I'm showing you this if you're going to do some content. And I go over this in that video I'm linking to some degree. Not to a pretty decent degree. Just want to give you an idea, because if you don't go watch that video, you'll still have an idea of what I'm talking about. So based on that seed word, indoor cycling, these are questions. These are search queries people are actually typing into Google, right? Best indoor spin bike app, that would be a really good content piece, reviewing all these apps. Which indoor cycling trainer is best? Obviously, you would say you, and you would write an article on that. Indoor cycling when pregnant, that's a good question. Can you do it while pregnant? Never thought about that. Indoor cycling shoes you want. So you can see all this really good stuff. There's a lot of rich content to possibly implement. And I bet if you go to this, the shoes, they're going to link to Amazon when you see the shoes. Like, that would be my bet. Yeah, right. 95 at Amazon. So they get a little bit on the back end. Smart, you know what I mean? Okay. So one thing you're not doing, I should say, a thing you're not doing is posts. So this appears next to your profile entry when your entry comes up on Google, and it's good because it takes up more screen real estate. Also, it's a signal once again to Google that you're on top of things. Post. So create your first post. So this is just like what I mentioned earlier with the social media post. This is where you would post any content pieces, any offers. I would like for photos. You can do photos of review screenshots, all that kind of stuff. You're probably always having specials, offers. Get the first month for free or whatever. Pay for 6 months, get 2 months free, whatever. You put those offers here. What's new? What are some things that are new? Are you having events, right? You could put, and I know you do have those classes, so you could add those events here as well. And you could link to them. Book. Or, simply call now or learn more, right? So you want to add your events to here because you want to make things as easy as possible for people. So if your business entry comes up here, like over here on the right where it would, you want to have those things listed under your business entry, right? So if somebody's like, I need a class for February 30th, I guess there's no February 30th, but March 1st, and they're just browsing around and they just happen to see that you have a class for March 1st, they're more prone to click on it as opposed to just going to your web page and hunting it down. So I would keep all that updated for sure. It is a pain in the butt. I get that. It's just, it is what it is. So this is my Qualify and Conquer video. I talked about how to get, to find out what you can rank for and how to actually create the content. Let me make sure. Hold on. Okay. Okay. I just actually updated it yesterday, posted it yesterday, so you can go through that if you'd like. It'll also give you a really good understanding of how content works for SEO purposes, just general knowledge. Went over that. Some NAP. So NAP is name, address, places. Excuse me. Basically, it's just directories that your business is listed in. So I got to type it in here. United States integrity. Let me get this again. Okay, this is a free. This you can use the limited version for free. Let me look at the official name. I don't think it says. Yeah, it says. Okay, so I want to make sure. Pedal House. So what this is going to do, like if you had a paid version of this, and this is what this is one of the things that Bright Local tool does that I was talking about. This just does a terse check of the results on some popular directories, right? So it's just going to make sure everything's the same. I'll show you. You did have some issues, which I will show you. And a lot of these directories, local stack, US city, do you really want to waste your time getting yourself in those? That's up to you. I have somebody I work with that can automate to do all that. You can blast it for like $100 to get you in all those directories. Not sure I would even waste money on it, but if that's something you want to do, you can. So anytime you mention your business, you want it to say the exact same thing. Like on Judy's book, it just says house. So that's not good. See how it says pedal house by punch pedal? Just make sure like this one says pedal house. You want it. This should say punch house by punch pedal or whatever it is. It should always be the same. This one, I see New York. There was also okay. This one doesn't. Your Facebook doesn't have the phone number associated with it. It doesn't look like, and it looks like it's missing the hours. So why this is important? Google looks in more than just your Google business profile to determine the accuracy of your business. It's going to look all over the web. It's going to look in Yelp. It's going to look in Facebook. It's going to look at you're not in Bing places. These are the definite ones you need to get in. This one, this one, this one, this one. Yelp, Apple Maps. I think there's an Apple place. Apple Maps. Definitely the Chamber of Commerce. See how this says ST and these say street. Not a huge deal, but it's something you want to standardize on. So you need to go there, log in, change it. Judy's book, you may have not even put that there, but it's something. If it's there, you need to go change it. Let me see. Okay, and I have no idea why these are showing up because the address is different, so that's pretty peculiar. Pedal House by Punch, but this is good here. So you get the idea, right? I would use that Bright Local tool and do this. You get a much better result. But that just giving you some more ideas, things to consider. Okay, moving along. What are we on? We're on page 2 of 6, but it speeds up. Over that, net inconsistency, citations. Okay, this citations are basically getting in directories. The biggest ones are Apple Maps, Bing. Why Bing is big is because sometimes people just get lazy and type, gym near me instead of going to google.com then typing it in. And also Amazon Alexa uses Bing. So you're not in Bing. Bing, it's about 10% of the traffic. I mean, if you had to like babysit it once a day, I may not get in it, but it's a one-time setup. You set it and forget it. It's something you want to configure for sure. Yahoo Local, Facebook, Google, Yelp, and there's any niche directories, and I'll show you. So if we do indoor cycling near me, there's going to be a bunch of directories that pop up. So Yelp, so you're in Yelp, but you have, we'll get there. ClassPass. So I'm assuming these are like some kind of directory for types of classes. You want to make sure you're in that. Groupon. Are you doing Groupon? It seems to be an effective marketing technique because I always see them. I think this is a center. SoulCycle, City Guide near. This is really good. City Guide. Can you get in this City Guide? So you really just have to reach out to some of these people. Now going to Yelp, one thing you're not doing if you're not responding to any reviews, which is not something you definitely should work on. Let me see, especially, well, all of them, but definitely negative reviews. Whoops. Let me show you. Show you what I'm talking about. So Pedal House. Look at this. You need to always have at least 4. I think it's like 80% of people read reviews before doing business with doing transacting with the business. So this is need to get this up to 4. So if you go down and look, some like 3, that's not horrible, but it's just, you don't want to see. Look at this, 1, 2. If I was looking for an indoor cycling club, like, I can't ever remember the right word to use. I wouldn't use you based on this, because rarely do you see like a 1 and a 2 right next to each other and a 3. Normally business you see like 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 4. You know what I mean? So you need to go to respond to these and find out what's going on. And it also shows people researching you that you care about your customers and you care about your business. So that's something I would get on right away. Okay, went over that special hour, add the appointment link. Photos are really big. So if we go to Google My Business, you have a lot of good photos on Instagram. But you're not doing photos on Google My Business. So you just need to have a process. Anytime you upload something in one place, you just need to make sure you upload it in multiple places. So you're going to put it on Facebook, Instagram, and Google My Business. It's just something, get in the habit of doing that. So create your first, whoops. Where is photos? Info, photos. Here you go. So especially like a thing like a gym, eighth important thing for me, I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what the exercise machines look like. I want to see how big the floor plan is. Are there TVs there? Is there, I guess not a water fountain, but can I buy, is there like a Gatorade machine? Is there a little cafe? All that kind of stuff. And so you don't have any recently, I should say, because you have these from a long time ago. But since you haven't done one in 41 weeks, it's basically, it could be like, we don't know, right? I'm not going to act like I totally know, but it would make sense. It looks like you've kind of fallen off the face of the earth. So it's something I would update, even if you can do like one every 2 weeks. Hopefully you could do one every few days, but one every couple weeks. And these are good photos. These are good overview photos. And your gym looks amazing, by the way. It definitely has like a luxury feel to it. So this is good. But so you just need to stay on top of this. And I know it's totally annoying, and I know it's pestering, but all this stuff really helps. All this stuff added up together really helps. I definitely would do videos. Here, I think like when I'm not a video tour inside, you with your with your iPhone or your Android, but you don't need like a professional photographer, just walking around, maybe introducing the staff, maybe showing the locker room area, and this is where you can buy drinks. This is how you use this tool. Very friendly, something that's very welcoming. So definitely do videos as well. All this is really, really important stuff. And if you upload an image, if you can put like image friendly information on it, like your business name, indoor cycling facility, New York, right? And that's going to help Google just more and more understand what's going on. And if you could put the geo coordinates using like the metadata, that's even better, but most people don't want to go that far. It's good. So messaging, I don't know if you're configured for messaging because there's no way for me to tell, but this is just giving people another method to contact you here. And your concern might be you need to have like a dedicated person answering the messages. Well, what happens is this just goes, let me pause it real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So what this is it basically just adds, when somebody searches for your business and it pops up over here on the right side. Let me just do that. Never can remember the full name. Pedal House. Seems like it should be pretty easy to remember, but so what it does on mobile, I don't think it does it on desktop. It adds a little message button right here. And that just essentially just goes to your mobile phone, right? And if you enable it, so you could just have your mobile phone, or you could get a dedicated mobile phone. A lot of like big businesses, they have a dedicated one and they pass it around from person to person. And small business, it usually just goes to one person. So that's probably what you'd want to do. You don't get a lot of messages, but you do get some. And again, it's another signal to Google that you're, involved, you're doing stuff. And you don't have to respond right away. The quicker the better. But if you don't respond within 24 hours, Google's going to remove it from your profile. And I don't know for sure if you get dinged in the algorithm. I don't think you do, but it's just something you don't want to do. And it's just not good customer service either. That's something I would turn on. Just giving. A lot of people don't like talking on the phone. I don't want to call you, not you. I don't want to call a business and ask them questions and get a sales pitch on the phone. You may not do that there, but a lot of places do. People just, and then some people have social anxiety. People just don't want to talk to people on the phone. So if you give people, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to get a hold of you, and get it as easy as possible for people to get information on your company. And you want to make it easy as possible to tell possible clients, customers, why your business is different. Like, why me? Why us? Like, why are we better than SoulCycle? Right? Because that's going to be your biggest challenge, I would think. Okay, so if you go to here, I would fill these out. Ask a question. So frequently ask questions about your business. I'm sure you get the same ones over and over again. I know I certainly do. And so this is generally for customers to fill out, but you want to answer these here, right? All these frequently asked questions. And I also would add a frequently asked questions. You could add it under about perhaps, but whatever. I would have a frequently asked questions section on your website as well, and just mirror those. Whatever's there, put it over here. You could go look at if there's any other frequently asked questions for other websites. Other gym, indoor cycling studios. I checked your competitors. Nobody's asked any questions on them, but you could go look at ones that, like I said, Los Angeles, Chicago, and you'll probably see them. But I mean, you know what people are asking you, right? I put those in those frequently asked questions. Gives Google more context, helps customers. It's a win-win. Okay, yeah, and then use something called fact schema. So we'll get into schema a little bit below. It gets pretty technical. It just helps you put some code on your website. I'm not sure how easy it is on Squarespace. It's really easy on WordPress, but it helps Google say, okay, this web page, this page is a page that is a question and an answer. So it knows for sure this is a question and an answer. This isn't a blog post. This isn't a recipe. This is a question and an answer. If you had recipes, there's a recipe schema. There's a gym schema, which I'll show you below, that you need to implement on your website. Because websites that have schema implemented do tend to rank higher. Because Google it's 100% certain if you use the gym schema, GYM, if you use that, it's pretty certain that you're a gym because you went out of your way to configure it. Okay, so this is, other than the service page, this is probably your biggest problem. Reviews are critical. I don't see that you've responded to any reviews. You need definitely get on that, and you don't have enough of them. But here's what to do. So let me check something here. Okay. Oh, see this. Yeah. Okay. I didn't even look at this. Yeah, this is. I didn't notice that. Yeah, it's not good, but you're responding. That's good. Let me read one of these real quick. I'm sorry if it's a. Okay, I think that's good. This is good. Like, you're asking them, can you explain? You're not like, well, this is the way it is, right? Okay, that's cool. It's kind of a little bit direct, but it's good. It's, you're responding, showing you care. But for these good ones, you want to respond to all of them. And when you respond, use keywords if possible, if it makes sense. And also, I'm sure you know a lot of these people, like you see the same people over and over again. So when you respond, let's say, let me get Beth Fenn. So let's say Beth Fenn is a New York Mets fan, right? In the response, you want to make it very personal. You go, hey, Beth, thanks for coming in. Really been enjoying you come in for the last 6 months or whatever, and hope you have fun at the Mets game tomorrow. There's something that you know. Why that's important is people are going to see that are looking through reviews, and they go, wow, this isn't just a thank you for coming in, we appreciate your business, right? Which is just nobody. It's going to show that you really appreciate your customers. Now, if you really are comfortable with them, you could actually give them the review that you want them to put on here, But I'm sure a lot of these people you probably go like to dinner with or something, you know what I mean? Maybe. And you want to encourage them to upload photos. So if you're really comfortable, people aren't going to do it unless you can. A lot of people aren't going to do it unless you specifically ask them, or unless you tell them to, not tell them to, ask them to specifically. But if you can help them with the review using keywords and or putting the photo up there for them, that would give them the photo to put on them, put the photo up there that you want them to put on. That would be really good. So you just don't have enough reviews, and I'm going to show you how to get reviews. Make sure I'm not skipping anything. Encourage photos. Yeah, so post these. Obviously, don't post the 1-star reviews to your socials, to Google My Business Photos, all that stuff. But it's something you'd want to put, for the 5 stars you'd want to put on there. Okay, another thing that is really successful is give your employees bonuses for getting X amount of reviews. Reviews are very, very important. So if you could give an employee, I don't know the kind of money you make doing this, but let's, whatever. For every review you get a $25 Amazon gift card or $100, whatever you can do. And if you do it 6 months and you don't see anything improving, then you can always stop. That's that. But this is one of the most effective way to get reviews. If you incentivize your employees to get involved, they will start getting involved. And so here's how you actually, if you, okay, if you have their email address, you want to send them an email. Hey, Joe, um, thanks for, coming over to the studio. And then you want to add that little personal comment, right? Because a lot of these review generators are really, really just automated. It doesn't have like a personal touch to it. If I went to your studio and I got an email from you that was like, so I'm an LSU fan here in Louisiana. If you said, hey, that was fun having you in New York. Hopefully you have a fun time at that LSU game you're going to. I'd be like, wow, okay, that's kind of cool. He remembers me. You're being nice to me, so I'm going to go back and do you a favor by leaving you a review. The problem is, if you just say, leave me a review, where do they go? You don't want them to have to. And how this is SEO, the more stuff of these you get, the higher you're going to rank. So this is kind of like off-page SEO stuff. So you don't want to just say, leave me a review, because you don't want them to have to type in Pedal House and go, where's the review button? Okay, it's over here somewhere, website directions, blah, blah, blah. That's nobody wants to do that. So I got a link here for you. You just give them this link. Now I always ask for a Google review. Then wherever I need another review at, I will ask them for 2 reviews. In your case, you might want to do Yelp just to start off with, because those Yelp, that 3-star overall review on Yelp is really, really bad. So that's something. Okay, I don't know why it's not popping up. It should be popping up. Let me go incognito. I got plugins that might be interfering with it, or extensions. Let's do this. Okay, I might have copied the wrong link. Let's give it another second. Okay, let's go back here. Where'd they put it? Okay. Okay, this will probably work. So what it's going to do, it's going to pop up that review form. It's going to put it right in front of their face, so they don't have to go hunting for it, right? You want to just put it right in front of their face so they can just do boom, boom, great place, and add a photo, right? So that's how you do that. Same thing for Yelp. Same thing for Facebook. And you don't want to buy reviews. Some people do that. It can get you suspended, because it makes sense. Google knows where people are going if they have an Android phone. If you start getting a lot of reviews, a lot of people that sell reviews, they're from like Pakistan or somewhere in Asia or the Middle East. Obviously, those people aren't going to your business. And if you get suspended, do you want to describe the review? There's no coming back from it. Well, there's appeals, but you're gonna get into it. That's not something you want to do. But it's easy. It's not easy. You're gonna get a lot more reviews if you ask them. You could ask them depending on how comfortable you are with them at your facility. But I send that one email, and if they don't leave it, I send a follow-up email in a week or two. And if they don't respond to that one, you might maybe send one in a couple months, perhaps, because maybe they're just overwhelmed with family. Everybody has their own stuff going on, or like whatever. But I always do too. depending on the business and what's going on, I may not do 3, but the most I would ever do is 3. But I wouldn't do 1. I would do 1, then a second one a week or 2 later. If they don't respond to that one, you don't want to do another one a week or 2 later because it's just overwhelming. I would wait then a couple months and do it, right? So hopefully this all makes sense. Hopefully you find this helpful. I like doing it, so hopefully you find this interesting. And I think you're probably understanding now that it's not as easy as just putting some code on a website. It's all a lot of work. Okay, page 3 of, let's say 6. Okay, so this is just, I'll point this out. There's something called Google Guaranteed. It's $600 a year. What it does, you see the screenshot, it puts this little badge on your profile, Google Guaranteed. Now the benefits is it provides insurance. I haven't looked at it actually in a couple months. It might be updated, but it definitely adds so not insurance for you, insurance to the customer if something goes wrong. I don't know how that would work in a gym environment, but it's more. Well, hold on, I got a cat going crazy. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. It's more for like plumbers, you know what I mean? So if you hire a Google Guaranteed person and they totally mess up your plumbing, there's a Google will, I think, I don't know the exact number, but pay you like $1,000 or something. I don't know if it's 500, whatever it is. But the main thing is it gives that badge, that Google Guaranteed badge, because what they do, Google does a background check on you. And it just adds, and people that see it don't know what it is, right? But if it says guaranteed and it has a little badge, it just looks good. I think it's like $600 a year, so it's not that bad. So it's something to consider. You could do it for a year. If you don't see things increase, then you stop doing it, right? So a lot of this stuff is trial and error. Yeah, $600 a year, right? So consider local search is really big. This is just a page talking about local search. So you can see here, it's basically this stuff. Right. So, and you need to really know what you're doing if you're doing Google. What did I say? Search? I meant ads. Google Ads. Because a lot of people they'll do an ad. So you'll do an ad for when somebody searches for indoor cycling, and you want your ad to display every time somebody types in indoor cycling. The problem is maybe they type that in because they were looking to buy an indoor cycle. Does that sound indoor bicycle? And so you're wasting money by providing results to people who aren't really looking for a facility. So you would advertise instead on indoor cycling studio, New York, indoor cycling facility, New York. And also you would tailor it, you would narrow it down to say only present this ad to people that are within 30 miles of New York City or whatever. So bottom line is if you do this, just make sure you understand what you're doing, because people throw away a lot of money because they don't really know what they're doing. If you need help with that, let me know. Okay, you got that. Okay, I should have deleted that. You have a call to action. So what a call to action is, you have this good. This is really good. It's above the fold, meaning it's on the first screen. So before you scroll down, you have a button. But I would probably move this up because there's a lot of white wasted space here where you could be filling in a lot of that good about text here. Right? 'Cause you don't want to have a lot of blank space. Like a lot of this blank space, get rid of it. But I definitely would move this up and then summarize what's going on like down here somewhere, and make sure in this about text you incorporate indoor cycling studio. So that's good. You got that. So that's the H1s, that's the H2s. So H2 is just a smaller heading, right? With the correct keywords. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Put the about stuff on the homepage. That's what I mean. That's when I said go back here and put this here. I like this. I really like this. It's really well written. This is good too. All this needs to be in people's faces, in my opinion, for sure. Because but looking at your website, and I look at it, and it looks good. It's not a bad website. But if I go here, you know what I think? I'm like, okay, this is an indoor cycling studio. Like anybody can put this text here, but what does that mean? Like, what makes you different by adding this text? Because like, why would I go to you as opposed to SoulCycle? Like, what makes you different? Because right now, it's kind of like when I work with doctors, they have a doctor's page and it mentions their services, and it's all the same thing. Like, there's got to be things that make you different, right? And a lot of doctors, for or lawyers, I should say, they'll give away a tablet. You don't want to do that. But what I'm saying is, if you do a consultation with this lawyer, if call me and we do a consultation for a disability claim or something, just by coming in, we'll give you a tablet, right? So that really sets you aside. I'm not saying give away something, but there's put all that really intense stuff and all that stuff right here. I think whatever makes you different, whatever makes you unique, whatever your value statement is, I think that's the word, put that here. You really need to differentiate yourself from your competition. And that's not an SEO thing, although there are keywords in it. That's more of just a business thing, marketing thing. Okay, any awards, membership, certifications on the homepage? So have you been mentioned in magazines, anything like that? What awards have you won? All that stuff. That would be something you'd want to put, down here, like some badges. If your company has been mentioned in the New York Times, or New Yorker, or the Village Voice or whatever, you can say as seen in, and then links to all that stuff. That just adds a lot of legitimacy to your business. So all this stuff adds up. Okay, moving along. Okay, so kind of went over this earlier. Cycling classes 4, right? So we kind of went over adults, weight loss. These are all the service pages. And there's more than this. You can do like for A, so that's adults. Then you can do B for beginners. Do D for Dwight. Doesn't make any sense. For families, I don't think yours is really a family thing. So you get the idea. And there's ways you can automate a lot of that stuff too. So you're finding out a lot of keyword opportunities, because those are the keywords people are searching on, right? So you want to make sure you incorporate those into your web page. Okay, Screaming Frog. So this is a site spider, and I'm going to send you these results in a spreadsheet. So the problem here is your page titles aren't descriptive. So Google gives you, I think, 60 characters to put in your title. This Pedal House, your title for your homepage. Let me do this. If you ever want to see what pages Google has indexed for you, just do site : then your website. So you can see here, Pedal House. That's the title for this page. Schedule, Pedal House. FAQ, Pedal House. Studio, Pedal House. Team, Pedal House. Now, why this isn't good, A, it's not good from an algorithmic point of view. It doesn't help Google understand what's going on. B, it's not good from just a human point of view. Like Pedal House, what is that? So Pedal House dash indoor cycling studio dash New York, New York. Whatever you can fit in there. Schedule, indoor cycling schedule, Pedal House, New York, New York. Indoor cycling facts, Pedal House. Studio, etc., etc. Meet the team, indoor cycling studio, Pedal House. So you need to get all that taken care of. You also want the URLs, preferably, to be indoor cycling team, Pedal House. But if you already have this set in stone, you don't want to change these, that's not that big of a deal. But the page titles are very, very important. Same thing for the meta description. So these are the meta descriptions. So look at this. Actually, okay, so if you don't put meta descriptions, let me see something. Let me jump back. Okay, so you have this meta description here. A luxury, I can't read it because my eyes are bad. Whatever that says, that's good. Whoops. Okay, let me make this bigger. An indoor cycling's fitness studio, Pedal House is not your spin class, but a lifestyle. That's cool. I like it. But you didn't mention any geographical information. You might want to mention the intense part of it. Whatever keywords you want to put there, that's good. But you have a lot more characters available for you. But you can see what happens if you don't put a meta description in there. Look at this. It doesn't look good. It's just like sloppy. And sometimes even if you put a meta description, Google's it's gonna put whatever it wants in there. So it's something, always put it in there. And if Google puts something else there, it just is what it is. You can try to keep changing it up until it accepts it, but that is what it is. The other thing is images. You can see here, these are large images across your website. Most images should be under 100K. You have quite a few. You don't actually have quite a few. You have a few that are pretty large. Like everything over 400 I would look at, just optimize them. So if we go here, open image, you can see this image is very large. So that's something, go into paint.net. Let me see, what is it? JPEG, right? So in this image name, you'd want to put like her name, indoor cycling studio, instructor, whatever. That's what I would do. Okay, so moving along. So best gym list. Okay. Oh, backlinks are really big. Backlinking is a whole other topic that I'm not going to get into, just because it's the best way to get a backlink, meaning a link into your website, is to write content that people want to share. Like you can do reach out and all this stuff, but it's really hard to get people to get backlinks. So get your website on the Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureau. Do you need donations? Can you get on podcasts? You're an expert, obviously, on nutrition, cycling, exercising, that kind of stuff. You can just Google for like cycling podcasts. They're always looking for guests to talk about stuff. You're an entrepreneur podcast. Do you have techniques that are specific to your guys? And I'm sure people are always wanting to learn tips and tricks. Local blogs, you food drives, local business networking, LinkedIn. So those are all ways to get blog backlinks. But if you do best gyms, New York. Let's see what pops up. So the best gyms and health clubs in New York. So timeout.com. I would go read that and reach out to the editor and say, hey, we have this gym. Is there any criteria for getting on this list for next year? So Yelp. Who, what, where? Let me make this bigger. Just can't see. So look at this. There's all these opportunities. Let me see if there's any for indoor cycling studios. And you don't even have to do New York. Best 5 spin studios in New York City. Okay, well, this is good, right? I don't even know. Is cycling the same thing as spin? I guess it is, right? But look at this Class Pass. We saw that earlier. 10 spin studio chains. So I don't really, I know I've heard of spinning. I don't really know what it means. So you need to look through all this stuff and find out where these directories are they blog posts, and find out if you can get in them. Another thing is New York Business Directory. Chamber of Commerce. Okay, are you listed there? Talk. Because the more links, I call this the web footprint. The more places you're at, the more legitimate Google's going to think your business is, your website is. Because if you're mentioned all over the web on all these legitimate websites, like, you're obviously not a scammy site, and it's going to think you're more authoritative. So look, talk New York City directory, New York lists, business. So look at all these business directories you could be in. See, there's maybe a New York City business directory. There's probably a USA business directory. There's probably a gym directory. See, look, Zog Sports, field and gym directory. So there's all kinds of places you could be that you're not. So hopefully that makes sense. This is a big thing that we talked about. Why you? That's the most effective. I shouldn't say most effective. It's one of the most effective techniques to get people to contact you to do business with you. A lot of companies focus on what they do. I have bikes. We have intense classes. We have really talented instructors. We have cheap prices. We have scheduling, every day of the week. All that's really good. And this is just marketing, but why? Like when you see toothpaste commercials, it's basically like, it doesn't really talk about the ingredients of the toothpaste. It talks about you're going to have a happy smile and women are going to like you, or, you're going to like be super happy all the time because you have white teeth, right? So that's what I definitely would focus on more here, is why. So specifically, like, you don't have to say because you're going to be happy, but what's the benefits of being healthy? But more specifically, why you compared to SoulCycle and those more prominent businesses that you're competing with. Because there has to be something that sets you aside from SoulCycle. Okay, I definitely focus on that. Oh yeah, so, and then I put here, make it less intimidating. I know if I went there, I'd be pretty intimidated because you guys are like really in shape. Like, I'm not out of shape, but I'm just like a normal, like average guy, I guess. But after I wrote that, I'm like, well, your place, one of your niches is it's a very intense place. So maybe you don't want it to be that you don't want it. You want it to kind of be intimidating. I don't know. I mean, you don't want it to, but that might be the impression that you're giving off, is it's a pretty hardcore place. One thing I thought about, I saw on your Instagram, you have a lot of pictures with your kid running around. I think that's really cool. It kind of gives people that comfort feeling. Because if you watch the videos of you on Instagram, which are amazing, it's just really intense. It's like, very hardcore. So if you could add a little bit of more casualness to it, I think that would help. I think the kid thing would be perfect. Like you, like hugging your kid on the homepage. Like a picture up here somewhere. I think that would be really, really good. And you don't want to use, I don't think this is a stock photo. I think that's actually you. You definitely don't want to use stock photos, right? So that's good. Yeah, maybe like a group picture of the employee like hugging each other, you know what I mean? like eating pizza. Well, I guess pizza wouldn't be appropriate for this, but you know what I mean. Just things that are a little more like calm. That may not be the right word, but and then what makes it an experience? So that goes back to this. It's more than a workout. It's an experience. Then why it's an experience? Right there, 3 or 4 sentences. Tell me why it's an experience. And then of course use the indoor cycling studio. So at the Pedal House Indoor Cycling Studio, it's an experience because that's actually that doesn't sound that good, doesn't sound that natural, but you get the idea. Okay, something I thought of: studio webcam. Can you have a webcam running 24 hours a day? I think that would be cool. I would click on it. I want to see, like, is it busy all the time? What does it look like? What are people doing? Pictures are good, but I want to see what's actually going on in there. And it's, it's not that hard to do. So it's something I would consider. I'm just saying, me as a casual, like everyday person, I think that would be cool, and I would be more prone to go to a business if I could look inside and see what's going on. Studio pics, like VR tours, you can get those VR cameras, and you can kind of do a tour. Like, I definitely would have tour images in Google My Business, but I also would put them here, like tour, virtual tour, right? And put that. You want to walk around, you want people to see what the gym looks like. Oh, so you have a lot of those good Instagram posts. That's the type of stuff I would put on your website. Okay, yeah, I made a note of that. I like showing your kid. That's cool. And you and your wife, I'm assuming that your wife, it's real friendly. It's really cool. It's really wholesome. I think that's really cool. A lot of gyms that I've worked with in the past, I haven't worked with one in a while, but one of the most effective things they do is they have a little blurb up here, 1 month free or 2 months free. I don't think it's going to cost you as electricity, and we're talking wear and tear on bicycles, stuff like that. But I don't think it matters too much whether there's 10 people or 11 people in a class. So if you can get somebody to come in for free for a month or two, I think that it's generally an effective way to get people in the door. Also, referrals are really big, but that's something I would consider. Testimonial, I would put testimonials, and I would love to see like before and after pictures too. Because if you look at like you and your wife, you guys are really in shape. I'm wondering at some point. Well, I read something that you played football in college or something, so you've probably always been in shape. But I can guarantee you, like all these people here probably haven't always been in really good shape. I think before and after pictures are always really, really powerful for like weight loss surgery, for gyms, for all that kind of stuff, for like dietitians. And I can imagine it would be here, right? I think that would be really, really powerful. Moving along, money back guarantee is always good. I would plaster a little image on the website here that says 100% money back guarantee. People want to see that. Oh, this image here, it gets lost, your logo. I would make this stand out being a different color, right? Let me see. Logo is dark. Put that there. Before and after photos. Bonuses, referrals, like I said, bonus referrals. So this is what schema is. So I told you, you put some code on the back of your website. With WordPress, it's not, you don't have to code anything. It's just you put a plugin in and it does it all for you. I'm sure Squarespace has something similar, but basically you implement this code and you say, this configuration, this website is an exercise gym. These are the hours. These are the areas served. These are the awards that we've won, whatever. And you don't do all of these. I mean, it can get pretty crazy. Well, there's like 5 or 10 basic ones: address, services, business name, phone number, email address, that kind of stuff. But it gives Google a lot more certainty that this is a gym. Like, it's pretty certain because you went out of your way to code that into your website. And pages with schema, they rank higher. Okay, Google Alerts. Anytime somebody mentions your business name, you want to find out about it. So just go into Google Alerts and just basically set up an alert with your business name in it. And if Google finds it on the web, it's just going to send you an email. It's really effective. It's effective in many ways, but specifically if people are talking negatively about your business, you want to go find out what's going on. You need to make sure you're in Google Search Console, which is the dashboard for Google Search. You're going to get error alerts there. You're going to be able to see what people are searching for, what search results are working, or what keywords are working. And the Google Analytics. This is basically analytics for your web traffic, which is really good. And then monitor your website with Uptime Robot. So it's a free tool. It'll check your website every 5 minutes. If it's down, it's going to send you an alert. Why this is important is not a lot. Some hosting providers in the middle of the night, they will take sites down for maintenance purposes or something like that. And it'll just be down for like 30 seconds or a minute or something. So the Uptime Robot tool might not even catch it. If you had the paid version, it would check it every 5 seconds or something like that. You don't need that for a small business, no big deal. But if it does go down for 3 hours, let's say, because there's something, your hosting provider has an issue. They're probably not going to tell you about it, honestly, because they don't want to look, incompetent. But what happens if people start trying to go to your website and it's not up and they're using Chrome? Chrome's going to know your website's down, and that's Google's not going to send um, people to a website that goes down a lot. So it take you 2 minutes to go set it up. You don't have to put anything on your website. You just go here, sign up for the free account. This is my website. This is my email. Boom, and it'll start monitoring it. Send you an email if it's down. Another big thing is live chat. Live chat works really well. So you have a little thing pop up down here. Now, your concern might be that you don't want to hire somebody to sit there 24 hours a day on live chat, but it can just go to your phone, right? And you can get it. And if you're too busy, it'll after 30 seconds, it'll time out and say, we're not available. Please fill out this form to email us, right? WordPress, there's free solutions. I'm not sure about Squarespace. And what else was I going to say about that? I was going to say something else, but I can't remember now. I can't remember. Okay, I didn't see your phone number. On page 5 of 6, so we're getting 6 of 6. Okay, we're right at the end. I didn't see your phone number anywhere here. You need to put it, generally want your phone number at the top right here, and you want it to be clickable. You also want it down here in the footer. You also want to embed a Google map here to your business here in the footer. And this footer should be there across all web pages on your website. Okay, 3-question survey. This isn't SEO at all, but every business I've worked with has how should I say this, has really improved their business by once every 6 months, once every year. Hold on one second, let me pause. Okay, sending out a 3-question survey and saying, and this does help you because the more customers you have, if they're using Android phones, Google can detect them in your shop, right, being there. And I can't prove that that's what they're doing, but it makes sense that Google would use that data to determine that your business is legit. So send them a survey. What do we do good? What do we do bad? If you could change one thing about our business, what would it be? Right? Those are really simple questions. And you could even offer like 1 month free for filling out the survey, or $10 off, or whatever, one free class. Yeah, you do class by class. I don't think you do month by month. So that's something I would do. And if you're concerned that it's going to cost you too much money, like you're going to have to give away too many free classes, don't send it out to every client. Just send it out to like 30 and see what kind of response you get. Right? It's something I definitely would do. And it really, really, you're going to find out all kinds of stuff about you. You might be doing that. And it's not SEO stuff. It's just something that really, really helps. That Google Maps. Okay. So, yeah, so a review is greatly, greatly appreciated. Put a lot of time into this stuff. I really do like it, but it would just help me tremendously if you wrote a review. And like I told you to ask for reviews, I'm asking you for a review. If you're going to write a positive review, I can't ask for a positive review, but if you have time, maybe write a few sentences saying what you liked, what you thought was useful. If you don't have time and you just want to click, if you're going to leave a 5-star review or whatever, I can't ask for that. But if you are going to leave a positive review and you only have time to say great, that's helpful too. So whatever you have time for. If you are thinking about leaving a negative review, I would just ask that you first allow me to answer any questions you might have before doing that, so I can cover something if something got missed, or if you expected something totally different. Okay, so I talked about my monthly plan. We chatted about that. So let's go here. Okay, this is you, Joseph. Okay. So there's all kinds of stuff in here in Google My Business. This is some good stuff. This is SEO, how to do machine learning. I go over machine learning in my other video that I talked about a little bit. How to use Google Ads, Qualify and Conquer. Watch the video instead of read this document because it's still draft. I haven't really updated it yet. Okay, so this is the plan I use. I mean, this is the plan I use. Like, this is nothing secret about it. Month 1, do a mission report, free Bright local audit, competitive analysis, keyword research, right? Set up Google Search Console. This is month 1. Month 2, website speed, security audit, set up Google alerts, blah, blah, blah. Set up invitations, set up Apple Maps. So this is month 2. Month 3, you can see there's all, this is essentially what I do. So a lot of times it can take 6 months just because things can spin out of control. Sometimes it takes 2 months. It just really depends. But this is really what I do. It's not anything complex. It's just you kind of have to have a checklist to do it. So that's that. If you want to use that, you're free. You're welcome to. The other thing I'm giving you is this SEO tracker. Remember I told you about these tracking tools that you pay for are really useless. They're just not useful. So once a month, come in here and just record some data. So I'll tell you what all this stuff means. So what's your Alexa ranking? So is it getting better over time? It's not going to get always better month to month, and it's going to get worse month to month sometimes. But every 4 months is it getting better? How many users did you get to your website according to Google Analytics this month? This month, are things improving? How many sessions? What was the bounce rate? Meaning how many people left without doing anything? So these are Google. How many clicks did you get from Google Search? This comes from Google Search Console. How many impressions? Meaning how many times did you show up in people's search pages? So that's that. So there's all kinds of cool stuff here. How many backlinks are coming in? This is Bing. How many clicks did you get from the Bing search engine? So this takes about 20 minutes to do once a month. Once a week is overkill because I don't change anything on a website if it's tanking any more frequent than once every 3 months. Because Google sometimes takes months and months to process and changes things. I mean, unless it's something really, really obvious. Okay, so what is your Woo score? Domain authority, major trust flow. These are just all SEO metrics, and you don't have to do all these if you don't want to. What is the dollar worth of your website? Now, this obviously isn't the dollar worth of your website, but it's interesting to make whatever this calculation is your website becoming more and more valuable? Same thing with this one, GT metric. This is performance scores here. You want to track those because what'll happen sometimes, nobody goes to their own website. So your website might load in 3 seconds, 3.2 seconds, 2.8 seconds for like 4 months in a row. Then the 5th month, it goes to 5.2 seconds. And if you didn't come here and record it month to month, you may have never noticed it. Could have been an update or something that messed things up. And this is Google My Business information. So right here, we would get this. Let's go to Insights and record this month to month. How many people got direct through discovery search, which we went over, branded? How many typed your actual business name in? Listings and searches, listings on map. How many you got listed in the last month? So you've got quite a few, right? This is really, really good. How many went to your website from your Google My Business listing? How many requested directions? It's good, 553. How many called you? So is all this stuff improving month after month? Here's the direction requests, where they're coming from, right? So I don't know where that disappeared to, but did I collapse it? Huh, I don't know what happened there. And I wouldn't even really track that unless you're doing like some direct mail marketing or something. So all the phone calls, all this stuff. So you just track this month to month, photo views, all this stuff month to month. And the other one, the final ones here, is just search results. So SERP is search engine results page. So that's just the Google search results page. So this SERP result 1 could just be indoor cycling. I can't remember the word. Never can remember the studio. So when people search for that, what rank are you in the Google search results? So right now you might be 32nd. What about next month? You might be 31. Next month you might be 24. Then you might drop to 42 and you might freak out, but don't freak out. And then wait till the next month. You might be 41. Then you might be 32. Then you might jump to 18, something like that. So you want to, if you don't track this stuff, you don't know if what you're doing is working, right? So that's that. As I said, the review is appreciated. Really hope you found this useful. As you can see, it's a lot. It's overwhelming. Most people can't do all this stuff, and that's fine. But just do what you can do, and you will see results. It just is a slow process. And if you need help with some of this stuff, let me know. If you just have any general questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help. And I think that's it. So stay safe, and that review is appreciated. And talk to you later.